Hello everyone, this is Abir. I've got with me today Julia, who is the CEO and co-founder of Creative 971, and her colleague Emmy, who is a project manager as well at Creative 971. We're going to be discussing today, we're going to assume that I want to open a business, an e-commerce business specifically, and I've done my research and I see that there's so many different tools and different platforms to create my e-commerce website. So would you be able to help me or guide me the difference between e-commerce itself and dropshipping as a start, and then we're gonna go more into more detail.
Okay, so I mean generally dropshipping and e-commerce can be the same, right? But e-commerce does not always have to be dropshipping. Right. So to maybe identify that dropshipping means you're selling someone else's products, right, which on e-commerce it could be as well, you're selling someone else's products or your own. But what makes dropshipping majorly different is that you're not holding the stock. You're actually not in control of the inventory. You're, so to speak, in a triangle, the one that connects the buyer with the seller, but you're not the actual one selling. You're collecting the payment and paying that to the dropshipper. In a classic scenario, that would be you're ordering a product as a client online, and you as starting your dropship business would receive the order, and then the fulfillment would go directly from the, let's say, company that it's actually coming from, but not through you as a company. In e-commerce, most of the time, if you manufacture your own products, of course it would be you shipping it, or if you hold the stocks, it would be you shipping it, so you're in control of the inventory, in control of the products changing, description, title, pictures, whatsoever. So that's, let's say, the major difference in understanding dropship and e-commerce, where the differences are. Yeah.
Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, Julie have covered it all basically, but let's say if a user, the negative point of, not the negative point, but let's say why we usually recommend our clients to go with having their own e-commerce store rather than drop shipping is, let's say if anything happened, let's say a bad experience to the customer, your brand name will be affected and not the let's say the brand name of the actual of the seller, as an example. So just to think of, even if you're having a dropshipping business, at the end you're still the front face, yes, between you and your customer. So you need to make sure that it's not you're setting your dropshipping and then you're not taking care of anything else. You need to make sure that the product is being delivered in the correct time, in the correct let's say packaging as well, so it's not ruined, nothing has happened to the product, to make sure that you're still working with the correct sellers. Bad sellers may ruin your reputation, so you need to consider this while having a dropshipping business.
I see.
Yeah, and this, what Emmy says, sorry to jump in, is very important, because a lot of people think, oh, it's just easy, I don't need a license, I just use someone else's name, use someone else's product.
True.
But still in the end, and now if you're, just a quick outline why, let's say on Google reviews, if you go to a shipping company, I don't want to mention names, any shipping company that comes to your mind, you Google it, you'll most likely find an average or less than average reviews in their Google reviews. This is why, because most of the time people, when they actually get a late delivery, they would really let it out with all their anger on the delivery company without understanding, is it the person that actually provided the items not at the right time? Is it actually the delivery company's fault? Or did the company try maybe 3-4 times to reach the client and the client never answered, and then they just rented their anger on the site? So these things are just to be read very carefully, because sometimes it's the customer really sharing the negative experience over a positive one, and I think we had that in consumer experience. But what Emmy said is very crucial, because not only the difference of you holding the stock, but as well what impact or what reputation you might benefit or ruin your name with. This is another big point to consider, yeah.
And I want to ask, is that also applicable just in our region, or is it something across? How does choosing different platforms, do we have any local lens applied that would be more useful to where we are right now in the UAE, for instance?
I mean, for dropshipping specifically, it's very, let's say, in the infant stages, I would say. There is not so much like a dropship concept. Whoever knows it from US or Europe, it's way more advanced and different and way more common, as they're all over education around e-commerce, and their e-commerce market is far more mature. but looking at different, let's say, lenses. This is why Emmy said also we recommend to set up your own e-commerce store, because, for example, with Shopify as a platform, you can get started very lean and then scale the business up very simply. You as your, let's say, if you would be the sole business, let's say, operator, owner, whatever, you can administer the website at a minimal effort, quick and easy, without coding knowledge, without any further depth of understanding, with a lot of resources that Shopify provides for free, or even our videos for free, right? That can help you to understand, to really start off with almost nothing, I would say. And more on the local lens applied, e-commerce in the UAE has a big factor that needs to be implied when talking about trust. We have a lot of local COD. I think Saudi 70-80% is cash on delivery. Here it's still, you know, we're getting better. I think we're somewhat at 40% cash on delivery, so it's a bit more on card payments now. But still, you see websites here in the UAE that apply at the checkout, for example, an extra charge if you're ordering cash on delivery, like kind of a penalty to make you aware and educate your turning point to have a more, let's say, paperless payment methods. And I think all over that comes into a local lens applied, where Shopify would definitely be one of the best fit, I would say, for someone who really wants to start up, or for a business that is, you know, already online or wants to move to the next stage.
Alright, and there's one more common question that comes up. Since you're the Shopify experts in the region here, you'll be able to, is Shopify like a marketplace? Like, can I compare it to Amazon, for instance? What are the similarities? What are the differences?
She gets this question a lot.
A lot of people think that as Shopify is an easy platform for startups to start their business, they think that it is basically similar to the dropshipping. Well, yes, you can do dropshipping business on Shopify, but that's not the reason why Shopify is built. It's built to help startups start their own e-commerce business. Now, if you are a startup and you want to start an e-commerce business, but you don't have your actual own products, you can still be a seller of other products, but you will own the products. You will be the actual point of contact between you and your customer. The inventory will be with you, so it means that you're having the full management of your business, and by this you will make sure that they deliver everything. Let's say whatever negative points that comes with dropshipping, you're able to overcome it. Shopify is not a marketplace, but there are let's say third-party applications that you could use if you want to be similar to Amazon. But the main focus of Shopify is not a marketplace platform. It's basically not only for startups, but as well for entrepreneurs. So there is Shopify Plus if you are looking forward to enter the market aggressively and to actually market your brand, and you want to make sure, let's say you want to compete with very huge brands, then yes, Shopify will as well support you with it. But marketplace as the main point, that's not where its strong points.
I mean, a local lens applied as an example, what Emmy says, even from an enterprise perspective, we've seen all Souk was acquired by Amazon. So in the early Souk stage, this is how Souk went online, was through spreadsheets, Excel sheets, which they sent to their sellers. They told them, this is the format, fill in your items with the description, with a picture, URL, send it back to us, back to their office. They would open it, control it, and then post it on the site. It has two positive effects. One of them being you're, as Emmy said, in control. So let's say there's a lot of stringent rules also when it comes to the payment, as we're in Sharia compliant country, right, where you have to be careful with certain content digitally displayed. And if you are not if you're in a marketplace and someone else can just list products, you know, you're always at risk if you as a front-facing marketplace provider, you know, if you comply with the legalities. So if you want to adapt that early Souk stage to say, yes, I have other vendors, you can do it the same way. You can send them the spreadsheets to fill the details, then you proofread the content and then upload that content to your website. So that kind of marketplace is very much possible on Shopify, and this is what we also have a lot of times happening, because it provides you to be in control, but at the same time as well to offer a marketplace solution. I think that's more on a local lens, which we've seen more commonly what people are doing actually,
Would you like to add anything before we wrap this up?
Speaking of, let's say, Noon or Souk and Amazon, as per what Julie mentioned, basically it's a platform built for you to add your products through the system. So you don't need to contact, let's say, Noon or Amazon to actually sell through their platform, but it is a system built in general. So as per what Julie mentioned, if you want to manage it through spreadsheets, yes, it's possible, but to have a system where people will upload or, let's say, register themselves as sellers, this is not yet possible in Shopify. That's it.
Thank you, this really cleared it up. Any final words? Happy?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
hope you enjoyed this session. And as usual, just subscribe and leave us a comment or anything that you'd like to know more details about.
Thank you.
Thank you.